Welcome to the Love Clarity Podcast, where you come to heal your relationship trauma and learn to love deeply without losing yourself. Welcome back to the Love Clarity Podcast. This is Sanya Bari, and if you're new here, this is a space where we talk about love, relationships, and the inner work required to live with clarity without abandoning yourself in the process. I created this podcast for people who are thoughtful, capable, and deeply caring, and who still find themselves confused, unsettled, or questioning why something that looks right just doesn't feel quite right. In these conversations, we're not focused on fixing you. We're focused on helping you come back to yourself so you can choose the love that heals and frees you over the one that hurts and violates you. And today, I want to talk about what happens when the strategies that once helped you succeed, get to the top, stop working, and why that moment isn't a moment of failure, but an invitation and an opportunity. I've been having so many conversations lately with people who say things like, I should be happy, but something just feels off. I've done everything right. It was so hard to do everything right, but I don't know why. I just feel so unsettled. I'm moving, but I don't feel grounded. And I want to say this clearly. Nothing is wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not regressing. You're not ungrateful. You're not failing. Let's begin there. You may simply be outgrowing your operating system. You may be outgrowing the survival. Now, survival isn't a flaw. It's actually a form of internal intelligence. For many people, survival looks like being responsible, staying ahead of things, working harder and harder, being impressive, being needed. Survival is always, it was always meant to create success, and it really does create success. But survival was never meant to lead your entire life. At some point, the very strategies that helped you build a life, they slowly start breaking what you built. This often happens when anxiety begins to show up. Not as a disorder, but just as a signal that your nervous system is tired of being in charge of everything. Tired of being on all the time, a signal that your inner world wants to be included, a signal for a yearning for deepening. I often describe this transitional time like this. For a long time, life feels like chess. There are rules, there are the right moves, and you know exactly, you figure it out how you're going to win at this chess game. But then suddenly, life feels more like a poker game where there's more required than just strategy. The structure disappears. The rules that worked before feel unclear. Instinct matters more than strategy. Wisdom is required more than information and knowledge. This is where many high-achieving people begin to panic because instincts require trust that was never built. And trust feels dangerous when your sense of safety comes from watching things on the outside of you grow. So when things outside of you are not working out, that sense of safety, that conditional sense of safety just vanishes. And it's very disorienting because these are people who have created a lot, who have created systems within themselves that they have decided and have evidence for that they work. Underneath the confusion is usually a quieter fear that sits. And it sounds like if I stop pushing the way I've been pushing all my life, who in the world would I be? Becomes a matter of identity. Many people learned early that effort equals love. I mean, literally, like many times it's taught to us. that our achievements equal safety, that pressure equals worth. So letting go doesn't feel like rest. It really feels like danger. But your drive is not who you actually are. There's more than that to you. You have a drive. You are not the drive that you have. Your drive is just what you learned. And what you learned can be honored without letting it ruin your life. We're talking about building without breaking in the process. In this work, I talk about 3 stages. The first is emotional regulation, learning how to respond instead of react. Instead of being a thermometer where if your environment is hot, you're hot, and if your environment is cold, you're cold. Instead, being a thermostat and you deciding what the emotional temperature is going to be inside you and inside the space that you're in. No matter what is happening outside you, when you are able to emotionally regulate yourself, you're able to create safety inside you. The second is emotional independence, realizing that your emotions don't have to be dictated by circumstances outside yourself or other people other than you. That only you dictate what you are going to feel. That even when you feel upset, something or someone upsets you, that you have created evidence for yourself that you can walk from that place of upset back into peace. And the more you do that, the more emotionally independent you feel. And the third is emotional confidence, knowing that no matter what happens, you are going to stay with yourself. No matter who leaves me, who doesn't, no matter what I have and what I lose, no matter who loves me and who doesn't, I know one thing, that I'm going to be with myself. I'm going to be by my side. I wouldn't leave myself stranded. I wouldn't leave myself in a lurch. I won't betray myself. I will be loyal to me. This is where thriving begins. Not when life becomes perfect, but when you stop abandoning yourself under pressure. This is the heart of the Love Clarity Method. It's not about what you do. It's about where you are doing it from. It's not about who and what you love and how you love. It's about where you are connected to inside yourself when you are loving. Fear can build impressive lives, but only love creates peace inside them. The lives that fear creates are the ones where you break as you are building. You have the dream home, but you begin to lose the family. You have that accolade you were really working for, but then you lost your health. If you're in a season where your old rules are no longer working, where success doesn't bring relief anymore, where it's reached its end already, where slowly you are feeling that you're going to need more. If you're feeling that if you slow down, you're going to risk getting hurt, I want you to know this is a very common situation for most people. I myself have been there. I want you to know, coming straight from me, that you are not broken. You're just being invited into a deeper relationship with yourself. You don't need to figure everything out. You don't need a perfect plan. You only need to stop leaving yourself behind. So before I close, I want to ask you something gently. If this podcast has helped you feel less alone, more grounded, or more yourself, one of the most meaningful ways you can support this work is by leaving a review. Reviews help this podcast reach people who are quietly looking for this kind of conversation. If you have a moment, please leave one for us. And if this episode stirred something in you, just let it sit there. You don't need to rush it or fix it. And I want to say that you cannot think your way out of something you felt your way into. So if you think that the fix of whatever you're feeling right now is going to be from your cognition, that your cognition is not going to be the leader in this. So if you feel a quiet readiness to explore this work more deeply, you can reach out. I'm always listening. Until next time, remember this: life brings pain. You choose what happens next.